Hello, everybody. I am back in Georgia. Post op. I am now, today makes 10 days post op from a tummy tuck with muscle repair, BBL, and Lipo 360. My initial doctor was Doctora Robles, but I ended up getting my surgery done with Dr. Francisco Rodriguez. Um, Child, it was a whole messy situation when it came to Dr. Robles. But come to find out, your girl did not have COVID. I will go into details with that later, but let me just tell you, I had 7 negative COVID tests. But, everything got real messy, real petty. We'll go over that another time. But I'm back home. I'm walking pretty bent over. I'm very happy with the doctor I chose. He snatched me and I am walking pretty bent over. My stomach is really tight. And I came home with both drains in. I am going to be trying to take the back drain out in a few, and I am very nervous. With this doctor, both of the drains are on the left side of my body. One coming from the front, one coming from the left side of my butt. Right side, sorry, right side. Right side of my butt and the right side of my lower abdomen. So my whole right side of my body is really, really tender. And I think it's because of the drains. I really can't wait to get it out. Let me show you guys. This is what the back drain is draining. The back drain drains a whole lot more than the front drain. Now, as you can see, it's not as red anymore. It's more of like a, I don't know, like a dark pea kind of look. Here's my front drain. It's barely draining at all. Because these little drains, they expand as you drain. So, as you can see, the back one is expanded a lot more than the front one. But you take the back drain out first. I left at 7 days post-op, which I do not recommend that you do. But I had so much going on, like so many unique situations happened to me that was crazy. And I didn't want to change my plane ticket. I refused to change my plane ticket. I was so ready to come home. Also, let me show you guys how I'm sleeping at night. My husband surprised me with this little BBL setup, which is kind of like a memory foam setup. It's very, very, very comfortable. And you can elevate your legs. And then you have your BBL pillow in the middle. It is so comfortable. So I do recommend getting this little setup. Anyways, I was told that I could remove my drains today. My right side is very, very tender, so I'm kind of scared that it's going to hurt. Let me rewind and talk about the COVID situation. Initially, my original surgery date with Dr. Robles was on June 30th. My hemo was low due to another situation. So I was told by my coordinator that I should wait before I come, and she will fit me in before I come have surgery. Just go ahead and get my hemo up. So she asked me about how long would it take. I told her maybe about 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. So anyways, I did everything. I drank organic beet juice, took blood builder, took my iron supplements, ate steak, ate liver, and I took wild liquid iron with orange juice twice a day. I ended up getting my hemo up in like a week and a half. Whenever I went to message my coordinator, she told me that they had no availability. This completely pissed me off because, she told me, do not worry, mommy, we're going to fit you in. Just let me know when your hemo's where it needs to be. So then I ended up going over her head and messaging the Dr. Robles' assistant, which is Tavares. There's a lot of mixed reviews about Tavares. She has a really stern personality, but she ended up telling me, can you get here on Friday? This was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Can you come Friday? And I wanted to get my surgery done because it's a lot of sacrifices that you make, and you move a lot of things around just to get this surgery done. So I didn't want it all to be in vain. So I ended up changing my flight, and I got there on Friday. What I believe happened is that the availability was not really there. The recovery house that I stayed at, which is My Dream Recovery House, had a lot of girls. They mainly only get Robles' patients. So it was only me and another girl that was going with another doctor in the end, but that's where a lot of Robles' patients go. So I believe, this is my little theory, I noticed that a lot of the dolls end up getting pushed back for some type of reason. Either their testing come back, they have COVID, they have high blood pressure. Like, there's always some type of reason. I believe that she is very overbooked. So she has to end up moving things around anyway. And with me getting getting fit into an already overbooked schedule, I don't think she was able to do me. So that's when the whole COVID thing came about. I took the COVID test, which I told you guys on another video, and they told me that I was positive. They also tested my roommate, so that she was positive as well. But me being who I am, I bought my own COVID test with me. Not one, but two. I immediately went upstairs and took both of my COVID tests. They were not expired. They were new tests, and I know, you can get false positives. So I swabbed the shit out of my nose, because I wanted it to be very accurate. Took both of the tests, and what do you know? They were negative. So I immediately messaged the doctor and her assistant, telling them, I brought my own test and they're negative, and I've been very careful, and I also tested before I left home, and it was negative. So, is it possible that your test could be a false positive? So their plan was, okay, we're going to have the driver come pick you up and take you to an actual lab so they can do a blood test and do a PCR test. Yeah, a PCR test. And that will tell us whether it's positive or negative. So the next morning, the driver picked me up. I went and did the lab, the other two tests, which I had to pay for out of pocket. And it takes about 8 hours, and you can log in online and get your results. And those results were negative. At this point, that still wasn't good enough. So she said, okay, we're going to test you again in 2 more days. So around this time, I'm kind of feeling like I don't believe her. But, I ended up going and having consultations with other doctors. I was interested in Francisco Rodriguez. My roommate had actually turned me on to him. He works out of Plasty Center as well. He's board certified, doesn't really have any deaths. Very good doctor as well. And he has very similar results as Robles. So I went and did a consultation with him. And of course, they went ahead and did all of my labs and everything just to let me know if it would be a go or a no. And he did a COVID test as well, and it was negative. So at this point, I've taken like 6 negative COVID tests. He decides that he wants to do my surgery. The next day, Rob sends the same people back to the house to test me. And they don't give me the results. They test my roommate as well. But what we noticed was that the nurses and everybody, they weren't making us stay quarantined. They weren't wearing masks around us, and we were both around a lot of the other girls in the house. So if we had COVID, like a lot of us would have COVID, and we were feeling like, why wouldn't you test everybody in the house? So I think it was just a me situation, a situation unique to me. Anyways, from the second test that she did, they let me, like, maybe about 8 hours later, 7 or 8 hours later, I don't know, but it was a minute, Tavares messaged me and was like, I have your test results. And I'm like, okay, what were they? And she was like, positive. I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe that. Anyways, from that point, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with this other doctor. He said he could fit me in, blah, blah, blah. And I had done, research, and I know things happen. I just was really, really determined not to go back home without my surgery. I didn't want my whole trip to be in vain. So, I scheduled surgery with him. When I got there, shit got messy as fuck. Messy as fuck. Messy as fuck. Child, why Rob Bless gonna pop her head into the room where he had me sitting at and try to act like it's an accident, talking about, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, here we go with the shits. Here we go with the shits. Child, okay. Once she did that, I'm like, okay, here go the bullshit. Next thing I know, my doctor's assistant, which was another doctor, come in and start asking me about COVID. Do you have COVID? Have you ever had COVID? So I think it's very important to be honest with your doctor. So I told them the situation, and they immediately was like, okay, we're going to retest you. So she went and told them, hey, she got COVID. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. They drew my blood and swallowed my nose. Lord behold, they went through with my surgery. I did not have COVID. The test was negative. So I just want to let anybody know, don't always go with what these doctors tell you. Bring your own test. If you don't normally have high blood pressure and they're saying you have high blood pressure, baby, she just overbooked, okay? They can't fit you in. So my advice to you guys is to have another doctor on standby. I know that's crazy to say, but without me doing that, I would have never gotten my surgery. And without me bringing my own test and all of that, they would have never looked into it anymore. I would have just been like, hey, I got COVID, let me go home. Because I wouldn't want to put anyone else at risk. And of course, with me getting a tummy tuck and muscle repair, you don't want to be coughing like crazy because it'll hurt and possibly like mess up your results. So I definitely didn't want to do that. But long story short, I didn't have COVID, and I got my surgery with Dr. Francisco Rodriguez. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And I'm so happy that I was able to get my surgery. So anyways, I made it back home. Make sure you book wheelchair assistance on your way back and try to get a seat that's closest to the road, because it's going to be very important for you to be able to stand up and walk because your body gets so stiff. The ride home was so hard for me. By the time I reached home, my flight was 2.5 hours, and then I had like a 3-hour drive from the airport to make it home. By the time I made it home, I could barely move. I am very lucky that my husband is a certified massage therapist, so he's going to be doing all of my lymphatic massages for me. I did record the masseuse at the recovery house doing my massages so that he could kind of see her technique and what, I've gotten used to getting. But so far, he's done an amazing job at draining me and, just keeping me relieved of all that fluid. So I'm very lucky with that. So as soon as I got home, I got a massage because I was just so stiff and in so much pain. Another thing, if you ever decide to switch doctors in the midst of, your journey, change recovery houses. When I tell you the recovery houses, if they friends with your doctor, they're going to be extra petty. Luckily for me, I was leaving. The next day after they started getting real petty. Like they started, Tavares started saying I owe the doctor more money. I'm in a lot of the groups. I asked a lot of the ladies, if the doctor refused to do your surgery, did you have to pay more money or did you just lose your deposit? I haven't found anyone that said that they had to pay more money. So they not sending me this bogus bill because they were pissed that I went to another doctor. Like, if I can't have your money, no one else can or will. But that was stupid because I'm like, okay, you turned me away, not the other way around. It's not like I wasted your time, you wasted mine. So, my advice to you guys that if you end up going with a different doctor, look at the recovery houses that particular doctor uses, because you don't want anyone treating you funny or acting like they don't want to serve you or help you due to the circumstances. due to a bunch of petty ish. Because I left on, let's see, I left on a Thursday, and that Wednesday it started getting real petty around the recovery house, and I came really close to going to an Airbnb and getting a private nurse. I do recommend that people go that route. I met some people that did go that route. The Airbnbs are really nice, and they're actually really cheap. So it'll come out to probably the same amount, and you'll have your own private nurse. Or if you have a surgery sister, you can split it. All you need is one nurse for the two of you. You'll have more privacy, more space, all of that good stuff. I'm so happy that when the pettiness started, it was time for me to go. So I was lucky in that department because I was not with it. They can be very petty. In the DR, they tend to think that we're rich, and they try to price gouge us with everything, from your medicines to your labs to everything. They price gouge the fuck out of you, and they will try to get you for every dime that you have. And I'm fine with paying anything that I owe, but I'm not fine with being taken advantage of, because when I was informed that I had COVID, I informed Tavares that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just fly back home. Then it was no problem. But then apparently she got wind from the recovery house that I was still there and that I was going to a new doctor. And then she wanted to send me this huge bill. I'm not paying that. No, ma'am. Because if I would have went home, there wouldn't have been a bill. So there was a lot of petty stuff. Most of the girls there, like I said, except for one girl, went to Robles. I love her work. That was my initial doctor, but I do believe, like I said, that everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, I just didn't like, once I got a different doctor and everything changed, a lot of the attitudes changed. So if you do end up in that situation, stay somewhere else. I don't want you going through that. But anyways, today is Sunday. I am 10 days post-op. And being that I left the DR when I was 7 days post-op. My doctor did not feel comfortable removing my drains yet. So he said I can remove the back one once I'm 10 days post-op. So that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm so happy to be home. I mean, I slept like a baby like the past few days. I've never rested so well. It's been a while. And I was really, really homesick. I made some really, really, really great friendships while I was there. The group of girls that I was recovering with, they were just awesome, amazing. Like, we were each other's rock, and I don't think that the experience would have been what it was without them. So I love you, ladies. You know who you are. But anyways, I'm going to be taking out my back drain, and I will be recording that soon. So stay tuned.